I just think I'm genuinely curious to witness the movement across the spectrums, and whether or not that's possible, I guess I don't know, but I think it is. I mean, Nick Land is someone that I find really,
Was
really
Christopher?
interesting.
No, Christopher Hitchens didn't go conservative. Did he go the other way? Did he
I
ever
don't
change sides?
really know who that is a little bit. He was like the atheist dude, right?
Yeah, but then I think after 9/11 he got really anti-Muslim or something.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of what happened to. Wait, why is it picking up on what we're saying?
At least there's nobody in the Zoom room.
Well, it's not started yet, but
Who heard our whole fucking conversation about fashion?
What mic are you sending from Zoom?
oh yeah, true.
Hey everybody, we will get started in about 5 minutes. Welcome to the Segue series. You've got 5 minutes, so if you need to do a pee break, if you need to hug a poet, if you need to look at some fabulous books, you got 5 minutes and we'll see you shortly. Thank you. Hey everybody, make some noise, put your hands together. Welcome to Artist Space. This is the Segue series. If this is your very first time at a Segue series, could you please put your hands together for our Segue series virgins? If you don't know it, the Segue series is one of the longest running reading series in New York City. Shout out to James Sherry, who has been seeing the series through all of its growth and all of its terrific line of poets. Also shout out to Lonely Christopher and Jake and Daniel and Cecilia, she's here. We thank you all from the Segue series for all of your support. This series is a collaboration with the Gathering of the Tribes, where I am the executive director. And if you don't know it, the Gathering of the Tribes is a nonprofit that was started in 1991 by a blind poet, playwright, and former professor, Steve Cannon. Yes, it's to Steve Cannon. In his Lower East Side apartment diagonal from the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, he gathered writers, artists, scholars as we workshop poems, as artists displayed their works. And I am happy to continue the proliferation of all of these exciting voices in this series. This is part 6 of an 8-part series. Next week, Thaddeus Rakowski and Jilang Ko will be reading. And our finale on November 23rd will have Joey De Jesus, Noland, and Waldman. But tonight, we are celebrating the works of 2 artists. We have Norman Fischer in the house. And we also have the New York Neo-Futurists in the house. So the New York Neo-Futurists are an ensemble that writes and performs work rooted in our lived experiences. In their 20th year, they're best known for their high-energy late-night show, The Infinite Wrench, that fuses elements of poetry, game, and performance art. Currently based in the West Village, to date they have premiered 7,100 plays. It gives me great pleasure to have them here because I am one of the founding members of the New York Neo-Futurists. In 2003, with Rob Neal, we were a band of theater artists. Some of them, Rob Neal, Reggie Gabico, Desiree Birch, Michael Sorrell Creighton. We worked every week to perform, 30 plays in 60 minutes. This brings me to our poet, Norman Fischer, who is a poet, essayist, and Soto Zen Buddhist priest. Poetry titles include Nature, There Was a Clattering As, the Museum of Capitalism, Men in Suits, and most recently, Through a Window. His selected poems, so we're celebrating this through a window. His selected poems, 1980 to 2013, came out in 2022. He lives in Muir Beach, California, with his wife, Kathy, also a Zen priest. He's the founder of the Everyday Zen Foundation. So Norman Fischer's poems are prayers, wishes, hopes, rooted in a Zen bliss, with incantations that call on nature. When I asked Norman what number of book in his prolific career as this, he was like, I'm not really sure, maybe 25, 30, what have you. I want to show you some of the other books that are in the Yale Library, opening to you Zen-inspired translations of the Psalms, a reinterpretation of Psalms, as well as this most incredible collection, which is Charlotte's Way, a long poem that is strategically, gorgeously flowing, just like his poems. For his latest book, Through a Window, Nada Gordon says, the poems teems with the exquisite flora, cypresses, opium poppies, eucalyptus, and plum trees, and fauna, sparrows, foxes, juncos, deer, of Fischer's home in Muir Beach. And reading it feels like a kind of invitation to sit with him. I commend you for coming here. I know that this has been an incredible, unprecedented, difficult, challenging, perplexing week. I do have a saying, the world may not be sturdy, but poetry will hold us up. And if you're looking for some inspiration, I turn it over to the poetic stylings by the incredible Norman Fischer. Let's give a big Segue welcome for Norman Fischer, y'all. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. It's going to be a head-spinning combination with me and the Neo-Futurists. James said, you better go first because after they're finished with everybody, there may be nothing left. So, okay. This is a poem for Lynn Higinian, May 17th, 1941. February 24th, 2024. I hope you can hear me okay. Good mic, I think, yeah. An accord, making music in the lapses. It carries one on, the music's, the drums and drummers drumming. And loves a crime, or commits a crime, or covers one up. The categorization of camisoles, the iron railroad, the bathing of the statues in the square. Why do people populate areas of discourse and disease? Why do they blaspheme against the driest of dry gods in a corn-growing region under terrible pyramids? The ancient past remains ancient, always has, always will, a figment of my imagination, thinking's trill. Writing a word and writing ever or never the same word in so many words, so many tongues, neither here nor there upon the rolling beaches or in the marina where the white boats rock up and down. They go up and down, each one, not desiring to be another, not desiring at all, just groping from a moment to a further moment in the briny dark. That's forever. in error, not being itself, not wanting to follow any rule, yet following any way in every way. What when the beloved poet and friend has died after long illness equanimously, covered her prominent teeth with pensive lips, finally closed, the green eyes that looked at distance momentarily metamorphosed into a rabbit or a trembling twig in fog, brilliantly pushing sunlight out past horizons. People speaking quietly in rooms, and not much that has occurred, but lilt and waft of language, truest and most humane in human mind, while news is told and drums drummed and saxophones hum their mellow lament that means as much as the swirling stars. Both terns and pelicans dive bomb fish schools in deep blue Pacific, which they do repeatedly, gleefully, alive as they are and obedient to their natures. So we miss Lynn a lot, and I had forgotten that I had that poem to her, and I know there are friends of Lynn here, I wanted to share the poem for mostly for them. And for the rest of you, and everybody, an election poem. They asked me, the Buddhist magazine asked me the day after the election, to say something, and so I wrote a poem. Would that words knew how, what to feel, to do. Would that the true heart on the sleeve turn inside out with the terrible news, clean fabric. Soldier on those parts of the body in whose darkness sanity resides. Kindness as natural as wind blows through to some shaft of light in which truth scrolls show scraps and clear hints of what's to come that's never as imagined. Humans have their many foibles, fear elicits, but the body marches forward, ever forward and round and round. This too passes, and passing refreshes. Every new moment's a promise that being human matters on a green and greening earth, and the trees hold steady. So here we are in a new world that we will figure out how to live in. For some reason, I had a thought the main thing is through a window. I am really, really honored and happy to have, after all this time, I've always wanted to have a roof book, and I've never been able to manage to have a roof book, and now I feel like I'm complete. I have a roof. So this is what I want to talk about mostly, but I had the idea to read a little bit from this book, On a Train at Night, because it's such an obscure book. It was published in France, and so nobody knows about it here in the 2 series. So, and this is a prophetic. This is when I was in my prophetic phase. So I'll read just a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Rabbi Elazar said the Holy One took a letter from his name, and by this letter it was created. Who is like you? What can be likened to what? It is like a star, a bandit, a bush, a twig. What can be likened to what? To what can utterance be likened? This is all comes from the idea that in the Hebrew Bible, the world is thought to have been created out of words and letters. So poems in the Siddur, the Jewish prayer book, are often acrostic poems one letter for each line, and this is an acrostic book. All the poems start with A and go to Z. Anyway, where was I? To what can utterance be likened? Yet an extra letter extracted from the name and added here, creek, ravine, spring, fountain, boulder, cannot be likened, not depicted, green, chaotic firmament sways above the waters, created but not manifest, as if to be, but not yet having been, not yet being, having been, being present, not yet having come to be, because there is yet no other required for the being one against one, two, in a single letter, not the first, not yet last. For every creation is revealed according to its light, must be eternal delight in own light, must be passion, must be destruction, must be grasping, must be hurling down for itself, in yet itself, toward yet another, yet as itself. Rabbi Yehuda said, the heavens and the earth were finished in their own time. Rabbi Nehemiah said, these are the generations throughout time when they were created. On that day they brought forth all the generations at that time. As time is not yet, a cloud moving across the sky in which beings are muffled and cold. Nor time yet, a mountain upon which beings climb one side and descend the other. All generations created at a single moment, a single hour, a single day, in letters, words, an evening and morning one day, a second, a third, a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, like fig gatherers, tenders of the olive tree, each appearing yet in own time. Rabbi Berechiah said in support of Rabbi Nehemiah, the earth brought forth something already inside her. Nothing brings forth nothing already yet inside her. Not the unspoken word, not yet written by the absent author of heaven and earth, created on a sleepless day. Rabbi Akiva said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, before the Blessed One created the world, through his utterance, he and his name were one. Words, their realities, their souls, none articulated but winds howling through picture forests, punctuation marks indicating stops and frets, crawled and wept. It arose in his mind to create a world. He sang 1,000, as it is written, the thousands are yours, and sang others to show all worlds as mirage. So the first letter, Aleph, raised 1,000 inexistent worlds, bait, a dwelling which caressed worlds after destruction, Gimel, garden of peaceful abundance. Fourth letter, the human living in four directions. And what can be said? Wind over water, sound over significance. Rabbi Yitzchak said in the name of Rabbi Zrika, green seeping chaos streaks surround abyss, ascend and descend throughout language time as the other who cried out and was subdued. Letter expanded along four radii upon abyss, undulating sand trills, broken letters heaped up as we have learned, for it is written, one within the other, 1,000 worlds preceded, glory rang out as two letters arose, three letters engraved below, nested within, one engraved became three, three, four, four became two, there were yet 10, 10 divide became 32, 22, and 10 divide become 42, 42 become 1,000, 1,000, 0, 0 swallows letters as all. From here we contemplate with trembling heart. We conceal. We fear. You shall describe nothing. You shall explain nothing. All explanation, depiction, coherence, significance is control, is blasphemy. You shall sing hidden. Creation lies in wait, souls in wait, in words, winds, waters, rhymes, night, cisterns fill, souls entangle in frightful generation, life pullulates. So that's from the preface to the acrostic poems in the book. Thank you. A little scary though, right? What does it all mean? So this through a window is, I was studying and thinking about there's a very sophisticated Buddhist philosophy called Vijnapti Matrata, concept only. It has to do with consciousness and mind and how reality is literally, as we now know scientifically, created by the mind. What we see is the mind's creation. The brain is stimulated by an object. We don't know what it is exactly, but it creates the world we live in. So we're making up the world. It's literally a fact. And Buddhist thought made much of this. And so I thought, well, what if I looked out the window and saw the same thing every day and just did that for around a year? And then you look at something, and then what happens is your mind says what it is, and then you know it's a tree because your mind says, tree. But what if you questioned that, and what if you slowed the music down so slowly that it was never clear what it was you were seeing? What would that poetry be? So that's what this book is, Through a Window. And hopefully, when it's written in, you'll see short lines, very slow. It's written slowly and read slowly. And I hope that you will read it and feel happy to be going slowly. And I'm going to start from the beginning, which I haven't done. We've been going around reading from this. But I haven't been starting from the beginning, and I remembered that the beginning has the world's greatest epigraph that comes from Holderlin in a translation by Maxine Chernoff and Paul Hoover, friends from California, who did a great translation of Holderlin. And this is the line from Holderlin: "You are so alone in this lovely world. Acacias yellow now, light painted, things to see that are there, beyond, eye, through window, distance gray, rocks there, tree trunks there, patch of sky blue there, there, there." And her laughing, scorning voice, "What others may think to do there, a deer's there, placid, grazing, digesting there, there under low branch, soft earth shelter, where they rest safe at night." Slightly branch tip wavings, Pittosporum eucalyptus livings, mantled waverings, fenced with wood railing, pip, pip, pips, heat, life's fluid, cloud, cover, but small blue sky patches, distance seen beyond the eye, seizes distance as nor flat, but space as minds, hands, writing, space, sound of it lifted over ground, green, white, blue, lit by celestial above as dry leaf floats across view, narrow, brown, passionate, gone. Sun! This further painting, maybe things click, hum in mind, whir, as backstage machinery, brass doorknob guards, human thought, passion, from punishing elements, hope, hype, likewise that. Eyes draw shape, paint color from bounced dark light, from meanings, feelings, memory frames, personal symphonic score, then plays peace. So different, looking close at something within reach, an object to be domesticated. One can grip history in persons, places, tales, memory in looking through distant space at what's not gripped in hand, from where it cannot thus by hand be subsumed, has nor shimmering presence history in space. No past looking brings to mind another music held in breathless heartbeat with all my soul, with all my might. Some somber but bright lights, brighter in written or less. Beeping trucks, all over movement one sees, one says one sees, in mind, say, writes, in further moment, sees, eyes everywhere moving, in pittosporums wavering, squirrel on wooden railing, no sooner there than going, written. Wind, whistles, whips. Wind, early in waking dawn, roofs, rain sound, white water flows on wood railing, almost seen, again seen, in looking and hearing, thumps, heartbeat making rain in mind. Imagining wet to go outside, is wet there, beyond windows, soak, swelling, wind, window, wet, wild, in minds sounding, damp, inside body. The more insistent thought of it drops flying off taller in deeper depressions, yet light, blaze, in chill day. In sharp points, nearly seen, width of wood railing, sheltering dry boards beneath, almost. I will stop there and finish with, I'm doing good with time, right? Yeah, this will be the end, so I'm okay, right? Good, okay, here we go. So I wanted to end with this. I thought, since my family is here, I wanted to read this for them. This is from my selected poems, as he said, selected poems 1980 to 2013, with a picture of a bunch of Korean nuns visiting us at our house. We live up there. So this is a poem the title of the poem is After a Poem of Robert Creeley Circulated Online After His Death. So I think Bob Creeley died in 2005. I think that's right. And soon after he died, a poem of his circulated on the internet that was, I thought was a very moving poem. And it was reported that he had forgotten to include the poem in his last collection. But then I'm somebody who I don't have my books around. I've been traveling here, so I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure that there was a posthumous collection, and I think this poem is in that collection. So it did finally make it into a collection. But this is my rewriting of his poem, After a Poem of Robert Creeley Circulated Online After His Death. 1. When I think of my life, whatever life it is or has been, of how time passes or seems to pass, when I recall days, weeks, specifics, the river running by below me as I walked across one of several bridges, or the daily waking up in rooms or under sky, come back to gravity, identity, the physical world, sleeping, speaking a plain language, thinking, imagining a future that would never come, that was always and only now, here, as this here, this now of remembering, writing, memories, fatal touch. How strange it all is and always was. How hard I strained to grasp even a grain of it, a straw of it, to somehow reproduce or produce to match the sweep of it, but never could. Only ever unsatisfied in all productions that always fell, dissolved, but only in the process of their clumsy making some fleeting sense of recognition, as if something for a moment known or seen. And was I thought, the same person or another, a separate one or one of many nearly identical ones, never wanting to stand out or apart, to be anyone, yet always straining upward or outward, forward toward the light, I suppose, as dumb plant, the so-called future, imagined, which is the past. So holding myself, I couldn't help it, apart for that. And at the end of all this, I think it will come clear as dust motes or fog particles burst bright upon the retina of the brain. Pain, so living flares, not as organized story, but in chunks, moments, flashes of color. How lucky it was to be alive. 2. Thinking of love, of loving you, simply that. But no, the word has too much been drained, its pungency, color paled. So let's say I appreciate that it has been for so long possible to care so much, so warmly, and, miracle of all, your intense, touching care for me. Its constancy, that like food to the hungry, and not only the basic sustenance, but dishes proffered with delicacy and abundance, has been given through all these days, these advancing years. Who could have expected it? It must be that an animal passion once yielded to guides our hands, our feet, in walking side by side, hand in hand, at a pace through all the nights spent, spooned together in the various beds, the many places on earth, spots of warmth there because we were together there, blindly, dumbly, and perfectly, because dumbly, blindly, cleaved like the sky to each other, persons, male and female of them, and the nights spent apart, each alone in darkness, thinking of or not thinking of, but being half of what we otherwise were, one of us, out of which others came as if it were a destiny to be so, as if it mattered or had specific meaning that echoed through the worlds we made, that made us in the households, meals, the silent landscapes, sound of temple bells, the tears, the hurt, so much laughter, so much shared and remembered through the flowing time and times, the history of the billions of all of them, small but always there in the life we've lived, loved. Yes, somehow, loved. The word now comes back to itself through what we've weathered and made real, or seemed to make, guided to it in dark ways we never imagined when we began. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Norman Fischer, everyone. The book is Through a Window. You definitely want to check that out. There's still a few copies left. And it is $10 tonight. $10 for this fabulous book. It gives me great pleasure to give a shout out to our Tribe's Managing Director, Archivist, dear heart, Tracy Don Williams is here. Thank you, Tracy, for all you are doing for Tribes each week. I couldn't do it without you. Also, shout out to our co-curator, Drew Pissarra. Before we introduce the New York Neo-Futurists, I'm going to turn it over to Drew Pissarra, who's the author of Fassbender, His Films, My Poems, and he will give a performance art analysis. I don't know how to describe it, but without any further ado, please give it up for Drew Pissarra, y'all. Drew Pissarra.
Last week I did kind of get performance arty, but this week I went back to my original impulse, which was spending the week with the poets and then creating something inspired by the poetry of the creators. And moved also by just current events and stuff. I really this week wanted to make, when I was reading Norman Fischer stuff, I just was thinking about making an offering, and how do I make something that serves the poet. And so I was reading a bunch of his early work. There was this one book, like a chapbook, Why People Lack Confidence in Chairs. And it's an exquisite little book, and it's hand-sewn, hand-printed, and it really made me remember that books can be art objects in and of themselves as well as books. And it had drawings in it, and the copy I had actually that I was looking at was marked 168 of 450. So I liked the preciousness of it being a limited edition. And then, as you saw in the beginning, I also read this book here, Charlotte's Way, which I also really loved for its design. It's got art like baked into the book itself. And I loved the accordion aspect of the book as well. And then, but the book that really was sort of like it was the perfect book for me to be reading this week. It's a book of his called The Devices. And it's 62 short poems, or maybe it's a long poem, but they each have a number at the top. And it's very much about in the momentness. For me, it was. Like all of the poems felt very much connected to like, how do you exist in this moment while reading this poem at this time? But the one thing the book was missing was a table of contents. So I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to be of service, because maybe Norman wants to go back to this book and he can't remember where this particular poem in the book is located. So I made this little book, and I put it in a little packet. It's the cover of the devices, and then table of contents, and then the book itself is also in the accordion style. So, and it's also got art built into it. Each number is the first line from the poem, and it reads like a little poem in and of itself. So this is my offering to Norman Fischer. Thank you for your poetry, and thank you for being here tonight. Really beautiful. So Norman Fischer, New York Neo-Futurists. When I came into before this week, I remember talking to Tracy last week, and I had this idea, I'm going to make them both the same thing. And it was like, they exist in different universes. So I needed to think in a different sort of way. So I was thinking about, again, this week, Pandora's box. A lot of shit's going to come out. There's hope at the bottom of the box. And one of the things I loved, we went and saw the Neo-Futurists about a month ago, and one of the things I loved about them was just the whole element of the unexpected, and that unexpected arriving so quickly, over and over again. So I wanted to do something in honor of that, so I decorated this box with different elements that have some meaning to me in terms of the performances that I saw that night and what I'm looking forward to tonight. And then in a kind of classic theater mode, I was like, well, you always give flowers to, so their work is poetry and theater, and you always give flowers to theater people when they have an opening. So I thought how their scripts were like poems, and I wanted to, so there are these, their scripts have been turned into flowers here. My boyfriend is an incredibly talented origami artist, so there's flowers for all the people. I will say, I tried to do it myself. I made a tulip. This is my first foray into origami. This one has to be taped to hold together, but I thought that they would embrace the spirit in which it was made. So I think you're really going to enjoy their show. I'm a big fan. Thank you both, and thank you, everybody. Neo-Futurists, you're up.
All right, y'all, that was Drew Pissarra. So, having Norman Fischer's Zen stillness imagery contrasted with the New York Neo-Futurists speed 30 plays in 60 minutes, 15 plays in 30 minutes was the contrast. The New York Neo-Futurists, they do not act. They do not play characters. They are always themselves. They're in the moment. During my tenure at the New York Neo-Futurists, I took my poems and the exercise was to adapt them. How do I adapt words into the visual? How do I bring them into a black box? I'm so happy that they are here. And without any further ado, let's give a big segue welcome for the New York Neo-Futurists.
We are going to attempt today to perform 15 plays in 30 minutes. This is our attempt in experimental theater to collaborate with, work against time. Right now, my collaborators are passing out a few artifacts to you. One is going to be a name tag. We'll invite you to put that on if you would like, which is for us an invitation just to give way to this ritual, this task we're about to do together. And also this artifact that we on paper, which is what we call a menu. When you receive this menu, we will invite you to fold it in half like a tall glass of water. And what's going to be facing away from you are our faces. You're going to be looking at that for the next 30 minutes. So we will ask you to flip it so that the numbers 1 through 15 are facing you. And next to those numbers are going to be the titles of the plays that we will attempt and we desire to perform for you tonight. Great. So some things you need to know about the plays you're about to see are that they have some things in common. First of all, their length. 15 plays, 30 minutes, we can do math. They're all going to be around 2 minutes or under. So it might be a little bit over. We're gonna work on that. And also, all these plates are going to be different in form. You're going to see some projection use. You're going to see like working around the space, but emphasis on poetry and prose today. Great. Something that also have in common is that in the context of the performance, you're going to hear us call the title of the play, and you're going to hear us say the word go. After the word go, a play has begun. That can happen here in the front. It might happen back there. It might start back here. It might just happen all around us. Believe us, a play has begun. And the play doesn't end when the music swells beautifully. The play doesn't end when we take a nice pregnant pause and take a breath. No, the play only ends when you hear the cue word, and that cue word is curtain. 10. Yes. Nice. And so now our old fish will teach our new fish how to swim. Which is to say that cue word is your inspiration, your impetus to help us keep the show moving forward. And you do that by looking at your menu and choosing the number of the play that you want to see next. Which is to say, you're not ordering the plays tonight, the plays are going to be randomized. And so you, our audience, are the engine that drives the car of this performance. So take a closer look at this menu. Find a title that looks particularly juicy, particularly interesting. You desire to see that play. And in a moment, I'm going to say that cue word, and you're going to shout out at me with verb and conviction that number. Yes.
Leave the mic.
Leave the mic. It's working. Mike, leave the mic. Great. So, in a moment, I'll say that word. I will invite you to call out to me the number. Let's give this a try. Let's get an experiment. 3, 2, 1, curtain! 13! Pretty good. We can do a little more. Curtain! 5! One more time. Curtain! 3! Delicious. Let's keep it up just like that, my friends. And when we hear that word, we are going to hear a number that we hear first. Not the one that's most beautifully sung. Not the one that's shouted the most repeatedly. No, the one that we hear first. We're going to come over here. We're going, thanks, Chan. We're going to pull it down from the number barrage we have on the wall, and we're going to do the next play. So on and on it will go until something happens. And that is to say, we have a collaborator here at the Infinite Wrench, and that is linear time. When we start the show, we're going to come over here and start the go button on top of the clock, and 30 minutes are going to come shooting out at you in the shape of a spiral. And no matter how many plays we have completed by the end of this 30 minutes, the show will be over and you'll hear this sound. Cool. That'll indicate that our time together has ended. Our goal, however, is to finish all 15 plays in this 30-minute time frame. So it's important that you stay on top of your curtains! We're going to work on that. Great. Did I do the first part of that? I think that's great, yeah. Delicious. Some things you need to know is that also, if you look in your menu, we have some content warnings, a little QR code, if you desire to have a little more information about some of the themes or some of the interactive elements that are going to go on during this performance. So take a look at that, should you like. The last thing you should know is that we make art by 4 aesthetic principles. We are who we are, I guess it was mentioned, we will always be ourselves. We are where we are doing what we are doing, and the time is right now. Great. To get us started, I'm going to, in a moment, say that cue word, and we're going to hear the first number that we hear and pull it down and set up for that play. And that is going to come to you right now. Curtain! 5! 5? Yeah. Let's see, go for it. Great. What is that?
5 is for those who live in the sun.
Okay. All right. Great. So we're going to start with that play. We also like to start, it's a ritual we have at our show, to start with a countdown. That countdown is going to be for today. I'm going to say it first. You're going to repeat it back to me, and then we'll begin. Shall we try it? Let's go, girls! Let's go, girls! Okay, let's go. Shall we do it?
Over here?
Yes. Find wherever. I'll call it. For those who live... someone jumped up. I can do it? Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. For those who live in the sun, or a song for trans-liberation, go! Alright, I need your help for this play. I'm going to set a beat, and I'm going to ask you to either pat or snap along. At some point, I will give you the meters and symbols, and cut that shit out, and we'll use that. Sound good? Great. Very good. Start that. Vaguely, my nostrils are filling with smoke again. I'm trying real hard to put down the coke. What do you do when the temperature's high? Oh, I bet you've heard about the scary legislation that spread in will write me into any occupation. Can you hear the warning bell? Yeah, I know that writing is up on that wall, but I've got a question for you and for all. What will you do when they come for me? Will you sit on your hands and you'll hum real loud, or you'll pick up an axe and you'll hack till I'm found? If nothing else, I guess, remember this song. Remember my face, my eyes, my nose, my lips, my words, my hair and my toes. My voice a haunting tune, have I told you so? Yes, I told you so. Correct! Three is Janet Tips a random three.
Okay, I have to change!
Okay, I'm gonna grab this. Okay.
Ready?
Almost.
Uh-huh.
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
1, 2.
And attempt a random threesome. Go.
Is it 124? Oh, yay! Curran. 7 is Neo Art Doctor.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Get what you need.
All right. Neo Art Doctor. Go. Hi, I'm Tan. I am not a doctor, but I did study philosophy in high school. I'm just anyone here that would like to join us for a quick Neo Art check. Neo Art check. Neo Art check. I see. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Hi. Hello. Come on down. Hi. Your name?
Ryan Austin.
Ryan Austin. Yes. Birthday?
June 27th.
More specifically, your favorite birth date?
My favorite birth date. September 7th.
Oh. Lollipop?
Lolly, lolly.
Lolly, lolly.
Do you like candy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Repeat this rhythm. This is my colleague Rob Neal.
Hi, thanks, Chanlin. Welcome, Ryan. I am Rob Neal. I am not a doctor, but I did study philosophy and Russian at Grinnell College. When was the last time you were seen?
Today.
Are you a drinker of liquids?
Yes.
Woo! Do more of that. Repeat this rhythm.
Take the lobster.
Yes. Well done. Now sigh. Hold out the lobster. Wiggle the lobster. Cough. Laugh. Nice. Have you ever studied the arts?
Yes.
Been in a play?
No.
Dance ballet?
No.
Used to today.
Yes.
Modeled in play.
Yeah.
Have you ever been?
Yes.
Nice. Now repeat this rhythm.
Sharpie, please check the box to prove that you are.
Yes. Now hold the lobster, touch a claw with a finger. Now touch your nose, claw, nose. Well done. Now sing this note. Excellent. Repeat this
Dance break!
That's right.
Raise up the lobster. Walk. Higher, higher, and walk. And sit.
Sit.
Beeping sound.
Here's your prescription.
Striking the lobster.
Would you like to sing a sad song of goodbye to the lobster, or would you like Mike to sing?
I can sing something.
Oh,
Okay. Goodbye, my lobster. I'll miss you touching your claws.
Nice. I'll repeat this rhythm.
Thank you. Please schedule your next appointment with us through our online portal at nynf.org.
Kurt, great job, everybody. Great job.
Well, it's right in the booth.
Okay, let's go! Coming.
Riot in the booth, go!
Right in the house, right in the house.
Right in the house, right in the house. Right in the house, right in the house. Right in the house, right in the house. Right on the stage, right on the stage. 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 Right in the house, right in the house. Right in the house, right in the house. Right in the house, right in the house. Right in the house, right in the house.
The silence that follows is roughly equivalent to the length of the orgasm of the short-nosed fruit bat. Go! Great!
13, you got it.
Paper Crane Theater!
Hold me on the mic!
I'm gonna get the, do that, and then...
Need a mic?
This way, yeah.
Thank you. And going over,
Maybe it'll be back here.
connecting to...
Are you on my life yet?
Good question.
Shannon, no. Okay, we'll figure it out when we get here.
Everyone hum something Paper Street Girl.
No, maybe not. Follow its rhythm.
Theater. Go. Okay. Hi. Here we go. My parents are the ultimate American dream story. My father was undocumented. My mother never went to a single day of school, and yet they managed to open King House Chinese buffet restaurant in Okeechobee, Florida, population 5,000, where I spent all of my childhood summer and winter breaks waiting tables, running the register, and assembling takeout orders. Dinner buffet was $9.99. Weekend seafood buffet with snow crab legs was $12.99. Unlimited soda, $1.39. Water, free, but it is Florida tap water. From the age of 12, in the 12 hours a day of boredom I spent in front of the register, I passed idle time by folding hundreds of paper cranes until I could fold them smaller than a penny with my eyes closed.
I don't think that my mother ever truly understood how existentially unfulfilled I was. She was too busy hustling. One summer, she returned from China with a suitcase filled with hundreds of cheap cell phone charms. If you remember the glittery kawaii shit we all had dangling from our Motorola razors, and she would hang them on chopsticks by the register and sell them at ridiculous margins. And these nice white ladies would come up and ask how much each one cost, and she would confidently, fearlessly declare, $12. $12. These were like 50-cent garbage things. In 2018, I took my first ceramics class, pottery class, and I fell in love with clay. In 2019, I did a 3-week-long artist residency in Jingdezhen in China, the world capital of porcelain. And in February 2020, I had my first ceramics pop-up shop in Williamsburg. And there I was, discussing porcelain with this nice white lady, when suddenly she asks to buy my favorite vase that I had only intended for a display. And I was so caught off guard that I undersold. I blurted out $60, and I felt immense regret all throughout the transaction, and even more so when someone else told me that they would have paid me $200 for it. I am getting better, but I'm still learning how to price my art, to value my work, to be fearless like my mother. So I would like to know if anyone here would be interested in buying this handmade, one-of-a-kind, vegan, gluten-free paper crane for $200. And I do accept Venmo and Cash App and card. Any takers? I'm going to set this over by the side. If you would like to come for a transaction briefly after the show, come talk to me. Thank you.
14, I heard! 14 is to the edge umbrella!
Okay, let's just leave this all here.
To the edge umbrella!
Yep, let's call it.
To the edge umbrella, go!
I am so close. We are close now. I feel everything moving so fast. I like to find anchors. Anchors in time. Anchors in places. Anchors in calm. I am calm, connecting right here, right now, to the little red umbrella. The little red umbrella that is connected to me. Slow rising for emphasis. I like that. It's a security, and even a little fantasy. It is. You see it. Its ears. Nice. It's just a little red umbrella I am holding. That I offer is holding me here. I offer to you all, with you all, as we all cross like this, for now. How about that?
Okay, get our bottles over here. Thank you. We're gonna call it Free Mist in Chinatown. Go! Choose a line.
sit up, big sit up, big sit up.
What? Good luck, yeah, okay.
You want these?
Just want a marker. Yeah, I got you. Ready?
Ready?
Yay, technology.
Ye play I wrote in May. Go!
I'm thinking about a hope play where there's a light, like a clip light that comes on and off. Yeah, like a sunrise and a sunset to this song. And the episode of The Last Airbender that I watched today where they're in the cave and they say that love is brightest in the dark. And I'm thinking about the election coming up and whether this will be a good play in November or October for the next run where, fuck, I don't know, I'm scared. And it's hard to write a play about hope. But I'm thinking like growing light. And I'm thinking about that Jonathan Franzen article where he says we have to just protect as climate change is to this point unavoidable and they're going to be catastrophic, continue to be catastrophic, happening.
Curtain.
Sleepy Light!
Sleepy Light.
Good setup, folks!
Try another view play.
Here we go.
Boy, that was apropos. Like Tuesday all over again.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sleepy Light, go!
Sleepy like the morning. Sleepy like that bus ride home where my hips and my stomach competed. Sleepy like she's gone to bed on a spreadsheet, like a card game where your eyes are shut. Sleepy like the talkative voice in the morning and the guilt that vibrates on your wrist, like a psychic who tells you she's smarter than your subconscious. Sleepy like the hair in the drain, like the cats that keep disappearing into the woods. Sleepy like the pornography that comes when you call but that you can't touch, like a missing page with words that photographed a moment. Sleepy like the Count Chocula she's angry at, and the cloudy, blurry vision in your morning milk. Sleepy like the next election in South Haven, Michigan. Like progress hitting snooze and capitalism pulling back the covers. Sleepy like all of them wandering 35th Street after class. Like wanting them all to laugh. Sleepy like someone else's wedding day. Like all in, penciled into a planner. Like trying to keep up on an old Achilles. Sleepy like all those years gone by playing Baldur's Gate on a stolen PC. Sleepy like you are now. 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 Curtain.
Oh, it's done, so I have 6. Got it. A grammar lesson written in Chinese syntax. What do you need?
The microphone. A grammar lesson written in Chinese language syntax. Go. Ooh. My first language is Fuzhouhua, but I forget了. I 1997 year moved to Florida, learned Mandarin. My Mandarin now can consider 3rd grade level. English is my second language. Middle school spelling bee gets second place. Chinese language use a subject, verb, object order. Sometimes if meaning implied, if meaning clear, Chinese no need is, am, are verb. For example, my throat dry is complete sentence. I happy is complete sentence. This room big, complete sentence. I good. Ryan, you good? Good. Chinese language no have plurals. Everything like fish. In English, any quantity fish still is fish. One fish, two fish, just fish. We immigrate time. My brother, 9-year-old, I only 6-year-old. My brother still can forget use plural because he word translate. Chinese language no have conjugation, use context. I tomorrow at Second City perform. I today ride my bike. I yesterday saw Val's solo show. Le mean past, already happened. I 2022 years start learn Cantonese because my wife family speak Cantonese. Class is a Zoom beginner class. My classmates, like my non-Chinese classmates, like me for love learn because they also have Cantonese speaking partner or spouse. Class is teach phonetic memorization. My classmates toward grammar and syntax very frustrated because order is subject, time, location, verb, number, classifier, adjective, noun, or object. So we today at Artist Space perform 15 short play, not we are performing 15 short plays at Artist Space, right? I have insight. I want two classmates say, Chinese not complicated, you just need from native speaker learn. Maybe your immigrant mother-in-law when speak English use Chinese syntax. Just notice, maybe you go Chinatown, waiter ask, you want to order what, instead of what do you want to order? But meaning still is clear. Yes, no, yes? Yes, good. Some people think ESL people speech have ugly accent. I angry, I want scream. They compare you speak more quantity language. My dad have accent, but he speak Fujianese, Mandarin, English y un poco de español. Conclusion, next time you with informal learn English person interact, listen they how use syntax. You can learn a little. Curtain. 15.
Could you do a short play over there?
Okay, got you.
Yep, leave it alone. Let's do it. Coach, you get someone call it?
Could you do a short play over there? Go.
I could take a few minutes. We don't have much. I could ask someone not too far away to play some music. Thanks, Val. I could take your hand. I could take a picture. I could take a class in reorganizing. Could take a long shower where I only sing show tunes that I kind of know the lyrics to. Nothing's gonna harm you. Now, well, I need to stretch more. I could take all you all to my favorite wine bar, my favorite speakeasy disco, underground tea house. I could take just a little bit of a breath, like a world with less bullshit, fewer comments. I could take a seat right here. I could even get on the mic because I know James wants us on the mic. I could take a trip. I could take a vacation. I could take a ship to a sunnier place. I could take a moment and ask Chan, how is the bike here? Windy. I could take that all in. I could take one last look. I could take your heart and hold it so close to mine like it's a tiny part of my soul, and you could do the same to me. I could take deeper breaths. I think that we all could. I could take a cheese platter and a bucket of beer and a case of chicken wings or a case of chicken wings, no, a case of beer and a bucket of wings. And we could go and watch cooking shows like it was 10 years ago, Survivor like it was 5, The Penguin like it was just the other night, TV like it was my childhood, radio like it was our ancestors. The world go by just as it should.
I could take my own sweet, sweet time and a detour, but we don't have much time. I could take hugs like kisses and kisses like candy, and maybe I just need more hugs like 7 or 56. I could take more weight, fewer breaks. No, wait, let's all take extra breaks. I could take the cake, the dog for a walk, the car for a spin. I could let it all come in and then let it go. I could ask someone real quickly to sing a short song about pennies. I would wait, not long. Just a short, quick one. I'd say thank you, yes. Yes, thank you. I could take a lot. We've taken a lot, haven't we? And give. I think I need to give. We all could give, and then where do we go from there? Curtain.
And that's our show.
We also have a book with short Segue. You can scan it in your program. It's on the side without our pictures on it. It's a little tiny stand for our merch store. We are performing all over the city as the New York Neo-Futurists. Usually we do 30 plays as Malthus in 60 minutes. So you can find us. The show is always different. As we say, see the show once. I've seen the show once. Come back to see us. Find us online. We are there.